I'm Gerald Bentley. This is LVWS Confidential. Today, rising from the ashes, the cannibal cryptid Lazarus, one half of the Pridestyle Tag Team Champions, newly crowned, joins us here on LVWS Confidential. Lazarus, thanks for taking some time and joining us.
Of course.
Now, what's really interesting to me is that your specialty, the death match. What led you to deathmatch wrestling being your go-to match?
I mean, it's kind of strange. Like, I don't consider myself like a deathmatch wrestler or anything. Not like a diss or anything. I just feel like I'm not like too delved into it as much as like people, at least in Vegas, would think. Just because they're not as common. But I think I've always really liked that kind of like style of wrestling, and like in other areas where I've been to, it's a lot more common and popular, and it just kind of like being a part of it seems really like fun, and doing them is just kind of like a whole different like animal just to normal wrestling.
Well, it's definitely a different genre, and you can do both. I mean, you're even in your death matches, you're doing technical wrestling. You're doing the missile drop kicks, the shotgun drop kicks. I saw you do a Blue Thunder Bomb on Dr. Redacted.
Yeah.
In one of the matches. So you're mixing it both in. You're not just bashing people with light tubes and Legos, but I'm just curious, what's the difference in those matches? I mean, they've gotten a lot more mainstream exposure in the last year or so with GCW, with Nick Gage as their champion. On AEW, you had Chris Jericho and Nick Gage, and Kenny Omega even got drawn into a death match. So people are seeing them now in AEW and GCW. But when you go and watch them in the independent circuits and the Pride Styles, maybe in California, what is the psychology? What's your plan going into a death match?
From what I was kind of... First of all, when you go to wrestling school, you don't learn anything about that. So it's just kind of something you have to like do as you go. So what I learned and kind of like took with it is that it's more about like the anticipation and like the spectacle of what you're doing, whether it be like the weapons or kind of anything involved with that. I like a lot of wrestlers that utilize like kind of more wrestling with like death matches and all that. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick too, so I'm not trying to like
half of the country is. So, what one? I mean, you get the tables, which makes sense. The light tubes, the light tubes, is that as bad as it looks, or
it's probably worse.
Really?
It's probably worse than it looks. Like, I've only done light tubes like a few times, but it's all about like the glass and like the small like damage that it does to you. Like it's more than just it breaking like the explosion, which is the cool part. The other stuff after that and just like the glass left over, that's the part that like more so fucks with you after. Sorry.
Yeah. We'll pick it up in post.
But yeah, that's more the damage, it feels like.
Okay. Is that the worst part of it, the light tubes? I'm just wondering, is there one of them that just jumps out at you and you go, oh man, no, I'm out on that?
It's either that
would do it for
or
me.
So like the leftover glass on the ring, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Or especially in Las Vegas, people don't know what a gusset plate is, and only really like either wrestling nerds or like people that actually do like manual labor and know what a gusset plate is will know what it is. So it feels like it's not as fun because you don't get a reaction out of it.
What is that? You got me. I don't know what it is.
Okay. So like a gusset plate is like this square metal plate, and pretty much it has like a bunch of razor blades on it. It's used for holding wooden planks together.
Okay.
But nobody like you just said, like nobody really knows what that is. So when people bring it out, it doesn't get as much of a reaction, especially in Las Vegas where there's not really as much death matches. So that one kind of sucks, and they like it makes you bleed a lot. That's kind of the what you get out of it. It makes you bleed a lot, but it's not as like visual, I guess.
Well, and it's something you can hold in your hand and then
like it's not as cool
with it.
Yeah.
Now, the match that really jumped out at me, because I know you've done those in different territories, but coming up on the holiday season, and we're airing this right after Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, everybody's together. I think this may be one of the most unusual holiday gatherings, because I think it may be the only brother and sister fresh off of a few months off of a couple of weeks off of a death match. How did that come about with Sandra Moon?
So the people that run the it's
I'll put the card back up.
Yeah, I was like the people that run it. So it's like Bad Productions, and it's like another one. I don't want to like leave anybody out, but so they came to us and asked if we wanted to wrestle in this like venue. It's like a hardcore show venue, and I love it. It's beautiful because like unapologetically like itself. And Sandra and I love that place. And she doesn't really like doing like matches like that. But we know and really trust like the people that run it. So it's like it's a little bit more of a higher level, and she like trusts me. So we're able to kind of put that together in front of people that have like no clue what a death match is or even what wrestling is really. So it felt like a whole like new atmosphere really in this like niche Las Vegas place, and that's like our favorite part, you know.
Okay. Yeah, kind of getting exposed to different audiences and
a
little brotherly advice, and there you go. So just to kind of rewind back, I just wanted to think the death match is interesting, because a lot of people will look down on it and say, oh, that's garbage wrestling. That's not real wrestling. But there's so many different facets to wrestling. That's just one of them. And you're a multifaceted performer, so you can kind of get into a couple of areas. And your sister, obviously, there goes the lights. Yeah. Your sister, Sandra Moon, a tremendous wrestler. And she's had a lot of success, both with women's wrestling and also in intergender matches. So it's interesting because you guys both come at different styles. But as soon as we get the light, lights out match.
Sorry, no, my room's really, it's probably haunted. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be right back.
No problem. There we go. The lights are back. Now, what I wanted to ask about is going back. I mean, you started out in the FSW training program where you and your sister, did you start together?
Yeah. So how that started was I was looking for a kind of place to go. I think my older brother showed us kind of like the live wrestling, in Las Vegas, and we kind of got like interested, but not really like fully delved into it yet. So like the more we kind of watched and like the more we kind of like really absorbed it, we're like, oh, like that seems really interesting. And I would like go on like YouTube videos and like stuff like how to be a wrestler and like look up really weird like training videos that like I don't know who they're by, but they're just kind of like random like bits of knowledge.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I got hooked onto stuff like that. And then I went onto a Wrestling with Regret page, and he was like talking about how to be a wrestler, like Pro Wrestling 101 kind of stuff. I just commented, I was like, do you know any place in Vegas? Like, I was just like young and just kind of looking for something. And he was like, oh, I know this place in Las Vegas. It's Future Stars Wrestling. And we're just kind of young kids. And I like called them to see if we can like start training classes. And then Sandra, who she didn't really like outwardly say that she was interested in being like a wrestler or anything, but I think once she saw that there was like a way into it, she took on to it, and like ever since then we were like in kids classes together and like just moving through like the normal training that FSW had, and just kind of like doing it together like the whole time.
So when you started, when you were in like junior high?
Yeah, like coming into like high school.
Okay. And once the door was open and you see, hey, could do this, then it made sense, right?
Yeah, like you suck for a long time.
Yeah.
Like Sandra and I are not like naturally athletic people, so we're just kind of like eating it for a long time. But once it kind of like ingrained itself into like our brains and like bodies, we really like felt like we had the full confidence into doing it.
Did you do other sports in school, or has it just been pro wrestling and straight through?
I did like kickboxing for a little bit, like Muay Thai, but like
Okay.
I wanted to do wrestling. That was like it's only like service, if to me at least.
Well, and being in Las Vegas, there's that unique opportunity, at least in America, unique opportunity to get started in junior high. You know, in Japan and in Britain, that's more common, but in America, it's kind of unusual. So it really is a great opportunity having that outlet with FSW to do it.
Yes.
And now that you're getting established, one big part of, like I said, you're multifaceted. Your career is GrapHouse, getting involved in your own promotion. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, it was Sandra, Jody, Adriel, and our wonderful friend Chris Mounts. We all kind of felt like we needed something like new in Las Vegas. We were all kind of like going through our growing pains, it felt like. And Jody, like for a long time, had this like joke that he was gonna start a promotion, and he had like this belt and like this idea pretty much. And it was just kind of formed into like this big like snowball. We're like, oh, we can really do this. And out of all the connections that we made throughout Vegas and throughout like the Midwest and Indiana, and like all of our friends that we made, we kind of were able to put something unique into Las Vegas and like let it just roll on from there and just get bigger and bigger.
What would you describe as the unique aspect of GrapHouse? What separates it?
It's a party. I think like a lot of like normal wrestling promotions kind of feel similar, if that makes sense. They kind of all feel like just wrestling shows. And I love just wrestling shows. Like those
Yeah.
are always fun. But I think for us, since we're all like young and everything, we kind of like like the drinking. We like being
Mhm.
downtown. We like eating. We like the culture of Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and we like carrying that within our wrestling show, like just the DNA of Vegas as a whole, and not just Vegas wrestling, you know.
Sure. I know you get a little bit more community involvement, get some maybe some food trucks, get a at a bar so you can
Yeah,
have a night out, and then the wrestling is the cherry on top of the
exactly.
entertainment Sunday, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. But you're still involved in the other local promotions.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of dip in with a lot of places, so yeah.
And just a couple days ago,
Mhm.
you collected the tag team title for Pridestyle, which is another newer promotion in the Las Vegas market with Alice Blair.
Yes.
So how was that? What about a not just an intergender match, an intergender tag team, and it was a three-way tag team match for the
Four.
title? Four-way, a fatal
Yeah.
four-way.
Yeah. Um. So we like as for TB as a whole, we're always kind of like big on to like Pride style because we
Mhm.
knew it had the same spirit as like we had like doing GrapHouse,
As
like
GrapHouse, similar
just
feel.
the young, like youthful kind of spirit, wanting to bring out like new wrestlers and more like inclusive nature of
Mhm.
everything. So we wanted to kind of like be a part of that, and uh, teaming with Alice is like a new thing that I've been able to do. I've always like hated being a tag team wrestler. I didn't hate my tag team partners.
Uh-huh.
Uh, because I quite enjoyed working with them, but I always never considered myself a tag team wrestler. But Alice and I have really like felt like really like cohesive, you know.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, like we just ended up getting that. I never really thought, it would turn into something that much, but it's really cool.
Was that your first match as a tag team with her?
It was our second. We were supposed to team before, but she was also involved in the same car crash as Jody and I.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was us three and Papayase, and Jody and Alice got like more of the brunt of it, so she had to take some time off as well.
Sure.
Um,
And that was a little while ago, right? Everybody's doing better now.
yes, yeah, we're all kind of doing a lot better.
That's good. That's good. And I was talking with Dom Vitale of Phoenix Championship Wrestling, and I think he made a similar point to something you said, that you want your promotion to not just reach the diehard wrestling fans. I mean, honestly, the people that are watching this, the people that can tell you the difference between a Snapdragon suplex, a German suplex, or what's different between a paradigm shift and a Death Rider.
Yeah,
If you know that, you're already watching.
yeah, exactly.
You want to attract people that wouldn't think of going to a pro wrestling show as their first choice of entertainment,
Yeah,
them to come once. And if they go to a Pride style show, if they go to a GrapHouse show, then they'll see it, they'll like it, they'll keep coming back, and you can build from there. Is that part of the philosophy that you guys have going in with GrapHouse?
yeah. So Jody and I talk a lot to the promoter of Pride Style.
Okay.
His name's Millhouse, just so you like have a reference. So we talk to him a lot, and we have this joke of like who attracts like the most attractive crowd and like
Okay.
not in a creepy way, but it's just like who do we like reach out to? You know, it's not just like
Who's drawing
just
the
like
money demo?
yeah, like who's just like reaching out to as many people as possible,
Sure.
and like really like we try to like get like the party audience and like the younger people who don't really know about like wrestling, and they just want to see a good show downtown.
Yeah.
We've been thankful to have like a really good venue downtown on Fremont Street, like right there.
That's an awesome place.
With Ferguson's, and then Pridestyle with this last show, they're able to secure like their own as well, and that's not far from Fremont Street. It's in the Arts District, so it's right in these like cultural like centers for at least Las Vegas, you know, for all these young people that do want to go out and want to find something nice for their like Saturday night, you know.
Yeah. And close enough for people who are coming in from out of town. I mean, if you're on Fremont Street, you're right there. People that come in from out of town to Las Vegas, they know where Fremont Street is.
Yeah.
A couple blocks away. That's not a big deal.
Yeah. And we just kind of like, at least with GrapHouse, we're all wrestlers. So we know what like good wrestling looks like, you know? But it's also nice to kind of figure out like what can attract just somebody who has no clue, you know?
Yeah.
That's just looking over the gate, you know? Like what do they see that could really get them to put something into it?
Well, and that's really the key. That's what'll bring you over the top.
Yeah,
if you get some of those casual fans, that's what's going to bring you up.
Exactly.
As we're entering, it's time this airs anyways, we're entering the new year. What's ahead for Lazarus as we move into 2023?
It feels like nothing right now just because I've been taking like a nice December off. I think Pridestyle and the Ugwa show were kind of like my last things for the year. So I've been like not thinking about wrestling too much.
No, that's fair.
But for the new year, I have a lot of cool like bookings that I'm really proud of, just because I know like what it's taken to get me there. And at least for GrapHouse, we have a lot of cool stuff planned for the rest of the year. That kind of like, it's going to make it even better than our first. Like, we're just trying to do more and more, and I'm trying to do more and more.
Yeah, try to build it up.
Yeah, it's, for me, it's always been kind of slow and steady, if that makes sense.
No, that's fine. When will people see the first GrapHouse show of 2023?
We have a date, but we're going to make a special announcement coming around New Year's.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Well, I'm sure we'll have it on the website at LasVegasWrestlingScene.com. Yeah. Well, hey, we'll move into the championship round here.
Oh, yes.
You get to be the LVWS champion for the week. Going into the championship round. Sure. What wrestler influenced you the most and made you decide to go ahead and get into wrestling?
I've always liked weird people. Either they're weird in real life or like weird characters. Like I've always loved like Bruiser Brody or like the Sheik, like the original Sheik.
Sure.
Or like Sabu. Just like strange characters like that. I don't know about the most, but I think probably one of those guys, like Abdullah, just like crazy people, like crazy people. I love them.
Well, and what's really crazy with Bruiser Brody, you watch some of the documentaries about him. The documentaries all say he was the calmest, nicest family guy when he wasn't wrestling. But when he was wrestling, complete
He's a
maniac.
maniac. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I love people like that. Like, I've been so entangled with him a lot this last year, but his name's Dr. Redacted now. But I met him as Dr. Cube. He was always this strange character, and in and out of the ring. He was my first death match. He was like a lot of those first things for me, and he's just a maniac. And even wrestlers today that are like that, just with the crazy characters, like that's always what I've been like enamored with. That's always what I've appreciated.
Okay. Would you go see Dr. Redacted for your medical needs?
No, I think he's more of a patient. I think he
Okay.
thinks he's a doctor. I think he's a patient.
All right, fair enough. That's probably a good call. Who's been your toughest opponent so far? Or your favorite opponent?
Favorite? I've had a lot of cool ones, a lot of different ones this year. Dr. Redacted is a really good one. My sister, Sandra Moon, she brings out a different side of when I wrestle.
Well, you have a long-term relationship there.
Yes.
A long-running feud.
Robert Martyr, I recently faced at GrapHouse. He is one of the smartest wrestlers I've ever met. So effortless in his brain. Just all these different people I've had the pleasure of facing the whole year. Just bring out different aspects,
What area would you like to wrestle in that you haven't been able to yet? Country, state, city?
It's easy to say everywhere,
Yeah.
For the U.S., I really want to wrestle in Texas. I've been really wanting to head out there.
Okay.
And I think everybody says Japan. I think that's a given for everybody. Sure. But yeah, Texas right now is kind of what I'm looking at.
Okay. And what's your main goal for 2023? Could be wrestling, could be with the promotion.
I think taking GrapHouse into the next level. I don't know what that means, but I really want to take that. It's my baby. It's all of our baby.
Sure.
I really want to move that somewhere.
Yeah, and build it up.
Yeah.
Now, can you find GrapHouse matches on YouTube, or is there a streaming service when you have the carts?
That's our biggest curse. We don't do YouTube. We go on IWTV. Our biggest curse is that with our location, our footage is always either corrupted or something happens. So you can't see it, but I have this really makeshift rig that I have my phone on. It's laying on a camera that I've bought for GrapHouse to kind of fix all those problems. But IWTV is ideally where you find GrapHouse.
Independent Wrestling TV. Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. Well, great. And just for the sake of asking, because you get a lot of comic references in pro wrestling, is there a Lazarus pit?
No.
No. That would be handy after the death match. Hop in the Lazarus pit and everything.
No, I just lay on the ground and just bury myself, and I just wait until the next time. I just lay there dead. My body hurts so much.
Sure. And hey, I do want to ask too, where can fans go to find Lazarus merchandise?
Merchandise, actually, if they go onto my Instagram, it'll be at Lazarus_wrestling. I will have a link underneath, and they can buy merchandise. But if they wait a little bit longer, on New Year's Day, I'll be able to release my new design.
Okay, well there you go. So you can just promise it as a holiday present, but
Yes.
get it as a New Year's present.
Yes.
Terrific. Well, hey, Lazarus, thanks for joining us here, and best of luck in 2023 to GrapHouse. And then, of course, your continued defense of the Pridestyle Tag Team Title as well.
Of course.
Follow Lazarus. Absolutely. Follow Lazarus on Instagram. Check out the new merchandise. And to everybody, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. And we'll have new episodes hitting every Wednesday on LVWS Confidential, Las Vegas wrestling scene on YouTube. Thanks for stepping into the ring, being the LVWS Wrestler of the Week. And we'll see you the next time we step in the ring.
All right. Thank you.
Happy New Year.